Hi, AJ. Hi, Michelle. Just trying to get my camera set up. Hey, Gail, Lori, Lane. Not sure if this is looking a little blurry. Let's see. It's not focusing right for some reason. Hey, Deb. Looks okay to you? All right. Still haven't figured out my new, the Logitech new, they've updated their download and it's completely different. It's called Capture now. I haven't quite figured it out yet. Hey, Janet. How's everyone doing on this Halloween? Terrible here. It's raining and it's cold. It's supposed to get snow flurries tonight. Ugh. But it is what it is. I guess you just have to make the best of it. Yeah, a few people. Sweetheart, I haven't seen you before. Welcome. It's good to see you, Deb Artzology. Glad you're here. I see you're back to video taping stuff. I love your art journaling. You're getting into that again. It's awesome. And I love your digi stuff that you have. I just woke up bad night with insomnia. Oh, really? I hate when that happens. But I guess just have a little nap and then hopefully you'll go to sleep tonight. Hey, Mitz. I think I might have to take Coco back upstairs because she's whimpering here. She has to be escorted up and down the stairs. She's still very leery about going upstairs because her legs are so short. She did fall down the stairs one time and she's scared now. So I have to be walking up the stairs beside her or she won't go up or down. So I think I might take her up so she can go sleep in her bed. So that's what I'll do, and then I'll be right back. Okay, come on, Coco. Come on, let's go. Come on, girl. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come. Good girl. Okay, she's up. There. Oh, really, Gail? Yeah, when they're a little nervous about stuff, they won't. It's only 4 Celsius here today. It's pretty chilly. I saw some of your posts for the last class, and they were fantastic. I loved it. You're doing so well. I'm very proud of you all. Hey, Pink Girly. Suzanne. Hi, Eileen. So I was very happy with that. Keep up the good work. You're all doing well. My dog ate my... Yeah, right, Gail. Yeah. Oh, there's no rush. That's why I like that it's videotaped and you can take your time and do what you want to do. No problem, Deb. You know, Eileen's just here to disturb the class. Yeah, just take your time. Do it as you can. Yes, you are. Yeah. I know, Pink Girly. There's a lot of people that have problem with perspective, and it's nothing to be, feel bad about. It's just something you kind of have to wrap your brain around, and it takes a few times. You just have to practice. Where's that book? Put that book. Remember that this book I showed you, if you're really having a lot of difficulty with it, get this book. It is very easy to understand. It's one of the best books I've seen out there that explains things so easily and gives diagrams and step by step. Basically, it's excellent. So if you're going to get a book, I would recommend this one. Still drawing boxes, but that's okay. Yeah, everybody goes at their own pace. So don't rush. Just, this is supposed to be about fun. Just improving your skills with drawing so you can challenge yourself. Do a little more. It's not about, how fast you can do stuff. It's all about process. That's what I love about drawing and art is the process and challenging yourselves to see if you can learn something new or improve in something. Oh, you do, Deb? You love perspective? Some people, they love it and others, they don't. I remember in art school, there was a lot of people that just could not get it. And they had a real difficult time. We had to take different classes in it. So do it long enough, you'll basically get it. We took drafting and all kinds of stuff. It's fun. look very complicated to me. I'll keep drawing my boxes. Oh, it does start off very basics in this book. See, it even gives you a little person and she shows you that she's standing there looking at something. It's very easy to figure out. Starts you right at the basics. Hey, Judy. Thanks, Judy. Hey, Piccola. So it's excellent, excellent. So I found this. I knew I don't know if some of you probably remember I did this on a Ustream I think I signed it. Maybe I didn't. I don't see it. It was not a Ustream, but this was there was paint and pencil crayon, I believe. And this is a scrapbook paper. So these leaves and the spider was already on it, and it's spooky. And then I just did the spider web, the moon, and the pumpkin, and the fog. So, if you get comfortable enough to venture out and do drawing, try to do whatever, animals, buildings, people, whatever, you get to do some awesome stuff that you typically wouldn't have even tried before. Just got here. Priscilla. Halloween pumpkin that you are you going to show us how to paint the Halloween pumpkin that you no, today is about faces, but I just thought here's an example of the face I drew because I practiced, and I'm going to give you the basic tips on proportions, what to look for, and using the grid system, so you can do this. So, this too would apply to if you're doing animals. There's probably proportions for certain types of animals, or you could use the grid system also for animals. So, you like that, Judy? Face day. I would be afraid of the wrinkles on. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying because I used to be afraid of it too. And you just practice. It's all about observation too. When you're doing wrinkles, depending on the source of your light, you're going to have a shadow on that wrinkle. So you have to pay attention to where the shadows are coming from. And with wrinkles, because it's going in and out, you have to imagine how the folds of the skin are going in and out. The highest part of that wrinkle would have a highlight. So it's all about shading and highlight. If I wanted to know an expression, I would make that expression in the mirror and then I would draw it. That's how this was before computers when I was a teenager. That's how I used to draw. So yeah, that's a great way of doing it too. Spackle knife. No young cute ones? No, not really. I like spooky ones. This is the other one. I've got actually, sweetheart, I do have a video on this one that I just put up last week. and it shows you how I did it. And this was with pan pastels and colored pencils. I know. I love expressions and faces and wrinkles and stuff. I just do. And if Colleen's here, she might be lurking. I saw your collage. That was fantastic. I loved it. The mermaid. I think it was a mermaid. It looked like a mermaid. And then I found this one. This is another one we did on Ustream in 2016. So again, collage, and then you added to it. So I drew this tail. I drew the hair coming up. So it's fun. So drawing, even if you just like collage, it still helps you with the collage. It helps you in everything, in painting and collage, whatever you're doing. Hey, Joan. All right. So, as you know, I love this book. And Andrew Loomis was one of the most famous drawers of illustrative drawing, I guess you would say. So he did a lot of stuff for companies and that type of thing, posters back in the day. But most comic book artists use his method for drawing the characters. So, this is another good book. It is expensive. It's a fairly expensive book, but I believe it's worth it. It is kind of oldish style, but he gives you very simple instructions, and it's very easy reading. And he goes through everything, age, different head shapes. He goes into male, female, kids at old age, what it does, babies, teenagers. It helps you visualize. His method helps you visualize. So, like this here, he draws a basic circle. So this is basically the top of your head while you put a nail. and then the eye line or brow line. Some people like to use the eye or a brow line as the center point. And then because your head isn't completely round, it actually flattens where your ears are. So you have to make that more flat. And then your jaw actually comes out from that. So if you look at a skull, I think he has a skull in here somewhere. Yeah. Your skull, the back of your head and the front of your head is basically round. And then your ears, so you take that down. And your jawline is actually attached to where your ear is. So this book is great. But if you really want to get into precise proportions and stuff like that, it does help. You don't have to use this, but it does come in handy. So what I was going to show you today, I drew this out. It's kind of wonky up here. I was just working on it before I came on. So I will make a Google Docs for you of this, and I will print it. I'll give it to. I know what I'll do. I'll put it in the description of this video when I get it done. So if you want to come back and find the link, it'll be in the description when I get it. Does that sound good? So basically, I think I'm going to draw it in a darker marker for you. Let's see. Where are all my markers? Or black pencil, maybe. Get a black pencil. Yeah, that'll fine. It's Stabilo. Okay, so basically, this part to your jawline, which is usually about where your nose is where your jawline starts in most people. This is just an average proportions. These all can change depending on the face, and male and female can change, kids, that type of thing. So this is a great proportion chart to have if you're having problems with the way your faces are turning out. I know a lot of people, when they're first starting to do faces, they tend to, they'll draw a face and then they'll put the eyes way up here. Most people do this when they're first starting. And then they'll put a line down here with the nose. And then they'll put a mouth here. Visually, this for a human being is not right. The height of your eyes is way too high. So what this does is it shows you from the top of your skull, not your hair, but your skull, to the bottom of your chin. You measure it, and then that'll be halfway point. So draw a line halfway. That line should be where your eyes go, the center of your eyes. Or it can change if you're doing a portrait. That can change a little bit. It might be on the bottom, maybe, or maybe a little higher up. But this will help you see it. So in the average, it is in the middle where your eyes start. And you may look at that and think, oh my God, that's way down low. But this is how it works. So this head, and if you have a chart like this, it just helps you draw it properly. It helps you remember. And then when you start doing more and more faces, you don't need this chart anymore because you'll know it. So there's your center point. So that's the first thing you do, is the eye, where your eyes would be. From there, you look at your reference, or if you're just drawing from, say, a character there's out of your head, then you can place the brow line wherever you want. So this is your brow line. From that line, you want to, from here to the chin, from the brow line to the chin, you want to divide that by half, which will give you the bottom of the nose. The bottom of the nose can also change too. Some people have really short noses, some people have longer noses or wider. So that can also change. But for a generic face, this is the average thing that you see. Okay, so from this part of the nose, so it's on the bottom of the nose, you want to measure the space between the brow and the nose, and that will give you, so this part to this part, measure that, and that will give you the measurement for your hairline. So from the top of your brow is the same measurement that would be from your nose to your brow would be. So measure it, and that will be your hairline right there. Usually, but that can change too. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Dana. That was fun. Okay. Then from your bottom of the nose to your chin, you divide it into thirds. So from the bottom of the nose to here is a third, and then to here is a third, and to the bottom of the chin is a third. So in the first third, that line is the center of your mouth. So there's where your lips will go. The next third will be not at the bottom of your lip, but where your chin starts to protrude. So you will find a lot of shadow in here, usually, depending on how much your chin sticks out. And then from where your chin sticks out to the bottom of your chin. Okay? So, if you can do these proportions, you'll get the face in a generic way that it looks human. Now, this can change if you're making a character and you wanted something goofy looking. You can change this. You can bring the nose up further. You can make the eyes down lower. There's all different ways of doing this. Now, also, see the lines I have drawn vertically? These are, again, average. So from the center of your pupil, if you take a ruler and go down, usually that will bring your mouth width. It can be smaller or wider, but it usually doesn't go past this. And then from your corner of your ear duct or your tear duct, there should be about an eye's width. So one width of this eye should fit in between your eyes. Now, some people say eye's width on the side, but I've never found that. It's usually about half an eye or 3/4. So this, you kind of, as long as it's half, don't make it less because that'll look weird. Alien-like, unless you want to make an alien. So it's usually the same distance from your eye to the center of your nose to the next eye to the other side of the eye. And usually from the tear duct of your both eyes, if you bring a line straight down, will be the sides of the wings of your nose. Now, I haven't put ears in here, but normally ears will be at the eyebrow length, the height of your eyebrow, to usually the bottom of your nose. This can change also. And of course, they can be many sizes. And your jawline is usually right here. So you're, if you're just doing a character, you can make the shape of the face whatever you want. If you're doing a portrait, you're going to have to pay attention to your proportions, because the face does go in here a bit where your cheekbone is. It might go in here beside your eye. Usually you see the cheek and where it indents here. It goes down to your jawline a bit. So you have to pay attention to that. But it's all comes with practice. So I will make this photograph it and put it on as a Google Docs for you when this is done. It is always so amazing to see the basic average proportions and when all. Yeah, there's many, many, many ways. This is the simplest way to look at it. Now, if you're getting into the Loomis way, and I can put this on the Google Docs too. This gives you the planes of the face. And this might help you understand how your face sticks out, basically. This is the Riley. This is the Loomis. So what they're saying, so here, just on top of your eye, it starts to turn because your head has a curve to it. So it starts to turn here. This right here is where most of the highlight will be. It's your forehead. This is your brow line, And this is where your eye socket goes. So this is very deeply shaded usually. So where your brow line, sometimes he hasn't put it here, but sometimes right here, there is a highlight in here. It sticks out, especially in men. Here's also the side where your temples are. It's usually much darker in shading. Here's your cheekbones here. And also, there's usually more fat in your cheek, and it goes down past the wings of your nose to just about the top of your lip. And if you smile, you'll see it more. But this is usually very curved looking. So there is some, depending on how your expression is, there is a bit of shading that curves. You kind of sunken in cheeks. You know how you do your makeup for your cheekbones. Your nose, you'll have a highlight here. This here is the bottom of your nose. So it'll be shaded more. And your top lip is usually shaded because it's curving inward. This here, where your mouth is because it's covering your teeth, it's sticking out. So there's usually a lot of highlight in these areas. There's shading underneath your lip. This is your chin. So the top part of your chin is rounded again, and then it starts to shade as it curves in. Around your mouth, there's usually a highlight because of the fat that comes from here. There's a fat area. There's a muscle that comes down here, and the fat that lays on top of that muscle makes this area highlighted, especially when smiling or smirking. Yeah, I'll put this copy on too. I won't color it. You guys can color it. But think about when you're, you got to think of this in 3D. If you can do this, then you'll have no problems with shading. And the face is all about shading, not about line. It's all about shading to get the proper, if you're drawing somebody that you know, you got to draw the basic outlines of your eyes and your mouth, but the shading is what gives it the identity of that person. Terminator, yeah, it does. So I've got this one, and I also have this one. This is a Riley. I believe it's Riley. He does his a little bit better. I kind of like to combine the two when I'm thinking about drawing, because the forehead is more rounded like this, and he puts in this highlight area here also. So the highlight down the nose and across the brow, and then there's the eye, and then right here, that's that area that sticks out, that's got the fat in it, and it also comes up into here. That's where your cheekbone is. So if you want, I can do this one also. Do you want both of them? This also gives you, shows you from the ear, tops of the ears, where your cheekbone will go. There's your chin. This is the muzzle area that sticks out because of your teeth, the skeletal area. Okay, I'll give you both. Okay, now I think to start, what we'll also do is, I know a lot of you would like to draw more, excuse me, character-based people, like not necessarily a portraiture of somebody. And they're a little easier because she doesn't have to basically look like somebody. So I thought I would show you, I need a stump, a really easy way of doing caricature. I'll put my light on. I see I have a shadow there. There you go. Better, less of a shadow. So with eyes, I gotta find all my reference notes that I did. Okay, for a simple character, there we go. Depending on how you want your eyes to be, a lot of people like a kind of a cat eye. So you kind of have to play with it. So if you start off like this, and then you can, that'll be where your eyeball is. And then you can play with this. So you can give her a, let's give it a really cat-like look. Mascara type thing. Just for a character. And you can just take the bottom out. Lessen it up a little bit. Then you can take your, take one of these stumps. And I'm just shading the top part, because that top part would be shadowed by the eyelashes and then you can put a little bit of shadowing here for the top of her eye. I'm doing a female. And then you want some eyebrows. This is just, you know, you can experiment, but it's an easy way of getting started. Let's put a pupil in here. You see? Now I bring you in a little bit. There. Then you just flick some hairs in for her eyebrows. Try to do it so you can see. And if you're not sure which way to go with the eyebrows, go and take a look in your mirror. Or Google. Then we'll put some darker ring around her iris of the eye. And let's see, give her some, maybe a little bit of an eyelid, not much. And eyelashes. Just flick them. It's always good to group eyelashes too. It looks a little more realistic. Kind of a witchy face. And then take an eraser. Let's see. Give her a little highlight in her eye. So pencil. Oh, that's not going to work. I need a pen. Let's see if these work. The white jelly. Nope, it's not working. Pasta. A little bit of a highlight. So where the highlight is, you always have light coming on the other side of the eyeball. kind of wonky, but a little uneven, but you get the gist of it. You can move your eyes up or down, or maybe you want sad eyes. There's different ways of doing it. And for a nose, for a cute nose, kind of judge where you want it because it's a character. I think I'm going to put mine right here. So I'm going to shade about the width of her eye, and I'm going to make a little shaded triangle. So I'm going to take the stump and shade that in and do an ice cream cone on top. Then take my pencil and do 2 concave, or a C, 2 upside down C's. And then where the wing of her nose is, you just make another C. And then you can see. A girl needs steak. Then you can do this kind of the same thing for mouth. So let's see, we'll put her mouth about the start of it here. So I'm just gonna shade an area like that. Take your and then at the corners, you can make it a little darker. And then in the center of the lip, you can make kind of a little C. And then down here, shade it out a little bit. And you can take your eraser and just take out a little bit in the center just to lighten it just slightly. And then your Posca, and you put a little highlight. Okay, yeah, you can make any mouth you want to do that. And then for a simple head, remember your jawline comes to about where the nose is. You don't want to be out too far and make her like a square jaw. So you want to draw a line like this on both, so about the same distance from the corner of the mouth. About there. Okay. And then I think I'll do a little more of a slant. I want her a little more petite. See, about a third down. Okay, to about there. And then you can come more on an angle to that jawline. And then straight up. Curve. And you can okay. And then depending on how thick you want her, comes out her neck. And about here to here. So her brow line, let's put her hair there. And the hair can be done in don't draw every hair on her head. It looks nicer if you just draw it in clumps. So let's take her off of this. So then you can erase this part. You can make lines darker where she would have more maybe she's got behind her ears. You could put her ear in here. Maybe this hair's going behind her ear. Kathy, do you usually start with the eyes? Sometimes I do. It depends. If I'm just doing something from my head, yes, I usually do. But if I'm doing a portrait, because I want to know the exact size, because sometimes if you start with the eye in a portrait, everybody has a tendency to draw the eyes a little too big. So then you end up with not enough room on your portrait to put everything. So you kind of have to. It's a good thing if you're starting out. It's a good thing to use the grid, so you know where everything lies. So it's kind of like a. Let me see. I think I have it here. Here it is. So if you're doing a grid, See this, you know, the nose starts right in the center. So the grid helps you see if you're off, if you're tilted a bit, or the spacing between things. So a lot of times I will use the grid just to lay it on top of my reference, and then I'll start with, say, drawing the shape of the face, and then I'll lay this grid on top of what I'm drawing to see if it's matching up. Does that make sense? So grids are fantastic. I still use them because you can go through hours of shaping the face and putting the eyes in, and there's just something you don't know what it is. You can't figure it out, but there's something not right. All you have to do is use a grid and you'll see it right away. Oh, thanks, Deb, for coming. I understand. Have a good night. So I would strongly recommend using a grid. If you're going to do portraiture where you have to have everything exactly to get the essence of the person, to know that it's really him, because the slightest, it could be a quarter of an inch off in something and it's gonna not quite look like him because of that 1/4 of an inch. Oh yeah, actually this was on day, is it day 3? I think I showed you how to do these. um, I'm pretty sure it's day 3 or day 4. I can't remember. It's on one of these, and I show you both types of grids and how to draw them. Day 3, thanks, Judy. Day 3, Deb. So check out day 3, and you'll see how to draw them. Day 4 now? I don't know. Day 3 or 4. But it's a great way of using, of getting it accurate. And you can also make these grids, say you're not quite sure on the eyes, so you wanted to really make sure it's a definite right on. You can make this grid even smaller. So you can also say I wanted to concentrate more around the eyes and the mouth and the nose. So I can make this even smaller. So I can draw through the centers again. Got that. So you can see, you can draw them even smaller. I could do this too. I could even do this. Just make sure it's corner to corner. You could get smaller and smaller and smaller. You'd add more and more lines to it. Oh, you're welcome. So you can make your grid as small as you want if you tend to need even more guideline to what you're drawing, or you could just have it the basic shape of this. Okay. So let's see. So that's your your fictional pretty girl or whatever you want to call it type of drawing. With the, where's that picture? With drawing a portrait, I'll show you. I had my granddaughter pose for me. she agreed. So this is Alyssa. She's 12. Now we can look at you can put a grid on here, center, and you'll be able to see how things line up. But this grid also applies for when you're doing this type of work. So let's see, we'll use a white marker. So you could do this if you're going to start to draw something. Did I have to pay her? No. No, she thought it was cool. I'm surprised she didn't, though. So we'll go down the center of the face. And the top of her skull, well, because she's got straight hair, I'm going to say it's right there. And to her chin, that's 6 inches. So then her center point would be 3. Remember I said the center half would be your eye width, and it'll either be the bottom of your eye or the center of her eye. Well, there it is. On the bottom of her eye is half. Yeah, I know. That's right. Hey, Dorothy. That's true, Julie. She thinks I'm famous because I'm on YouTube. It's so cute. Okay, so then from here, this is her brow line. So because we can see it, we can just put it in. Okay. And from there, we want to do half from the chin and the brow line. So let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. So there's half, and it's just below her nose, see? So it's working out. Like I said, it'll be right under her nose, the base of her nose. It's awesome, Julie. And then from the brow to her nose, we want to measure that, and that's 2 inches. So Then we'll find her hairline from her eye line to her, I think it was the eye line. No, it's actually her brow line to your, or maybe not. What was it again? To get the measure. Yeah, brow line. Brow line to the top was 4 inches. From here to here was 2 inches, I mean. So it'll be 2 inches to the hairline, which is there, which is pretty darn close. Now that can really change. Some people have very high foreheads or low. So that's pretty darn close. Okay, so if you see, remember I said there has to be the same distance between the eye. So her eye is from corner to eye duct or tear duct is 3/4 roughly, just a smidge past 3/4. So her eye width is pretty well the same. So from her nose to the tear duct is right on. See, the wings of her nose line up with her tear duct. From the pupil of her eye will line up with the edge of her mouth. Pretty darn close. That's excellent. So it's pretty darn close, this generic way of measuring things. And from her edge of her eye, if you measure, it's 7/8 of an inch the width. And from here, corner of her eye to the edge of her face is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 and a bit. So it's almost half an eye width. And that's what I was saying. I really don't agree with that one saying 5 eye widths across your face. It's really 1, 2, 3, and then half for each side of the face, which is 4. Thanks, Pink Girly. She's a 1 in a million, this girl. Smart. She can draw too, which is I'm thrilled about. She loves drawing. And then the thirds from the nose to the chin. There's the middle of her eye, or her mouth, which is, yep, that works out perfect too. So there's a third, which lines up perfectly with her mouth. The top of her chin and the bottom of her chin. She is a perfect model. So you can do this too if you have take a few copies of if you're drawing somebody, and you can use this to draw from, or you can use this also, and it'll help you. And you should be able to get all the proportions down right. Some artists actually will draw the outline, do all the measuring, and draw basically the basics of the portrait. So the shape of the face, where the lips are, where the nose and the eyes are, and then trace that on their good piece of paper. Because a lot of times you're erasing and redrawing everything, and it can wreck your paper, so that when you start to do the shading part of it, the shading doesn't go on smoothly. It kind of goes on blotchy because you've actually erased parts of the paper finish off. So depending on how much you erase, you could do the basic drawing of it. So it would be, the shape of her face. You would be doing this here. Notice too, her jawline, it does kind of start just around the top of her lip. So it's around this area. It's going to change with different people. So they would do this, get the proportions right. Just so that they know where her eyes are and everything. And then they would trace this on their good sheet of paper. So when you're tracing, if you're using colored pencil or pencil, graphite or whatever, the tracing paper you get from Staples has got a wax on it. And it is very difficult to erase. And when you're tracing something, it may go on darker than what you want it to, because a lot of times you're going to say like this area here, that line's you want to get rid of because it's too dark, because this is the highlighted side of her face. So you're not going to want a dark line. So I recommend this transfer paper because it's wax free and it's erasable. It's very erasable. It's great for watercolor also, because you can take your eraser and lighten it up. Or if you don't want to trace it, you can use your pencils. Just do it very, very lightly. Don't press down because you don't want to mark the paper either. All right. So then we can do side profiles or 3/4. These ones can be a little tricky. If you use Where is it? I just had it. There. These are really tricky for beginners because of the angle of the eye. If you notice here, let's see, let's line this up. The eye itself is much smaller than this eye here. It's got shine on it. This eye here, and it won't be as round. It's more of an oval shape. Where this eye is much bigger. And you don't realize that. A lot of people do the same size. So use this grid system to get it done right. Thanks, Helen. So if you, depending on what you guys want, I will be uploading this to Google Docs. What else did you guys want? Because I want you to try and do your own character out of your head. Do you want me to? Oh yeah, you wanted these. So I'll put those up. And what else? Do you want me to draw a sample of the nose, mouth, and eye for you? You already did it? Jeez. Aren't you quick? You got to show it. Got to show us on Twitter. I want to see it. Whatever you want to do. Okay. Well, I'll put this, the two of these, this one and the other one. And then I'll do a sample of the nose, the mouth, and the eye, maybe some different eyes for you. So I'll give you like how to start step by step. Can you explain your thought process for drawing the pumpkins? Thought process for drawing the pumpkins. Okay. Okay, this one and this one I have a reference for. These are carved pumpkins. And what I did is I drew the basic shape of the pumpkin first. Now, because I've been drawing portraits and stuff for quite a while, I didn't need to make a grid to draw this because it's not something I'm going to say, oh, that's so and so. It's more of a fictional face. So if it's off, it didn't matter. So basically, I'm just thinking in my head when I'm drawing these eyes, I'm thinking of a human. So the eye is round, it's a ball, so it's going to stick out. So I knew that it had to have a curve to the eye. This part of the lid had to be curved to show that this is protruding out. A lot of it has to do with shading and highlighting too. Anything that is sticking out has got a shade under it or beside it, depending on where the sunlight's coming. And it has a highlight on top. And the nose is basically, look at shapes too. Remember I told you in first about shapes? Because you can look at shapes. This whole eye here, I take from where the crease in the eye is. This is kind of the shape of an almond to me. Or you could do a circle and then put a bit of a triangle on the end. Same with the nose. Draw a ball for the top of the nose, and then it's got wings. So look at it in shapes. With the wrinkles, you look at the creases in the folds first, where the darkest parts are, and you draw those because you know they're going to remain dark. So you kind of have to, it's easier if you have a reference for wrinkles, because if you haven't studied the anatomy of a face and how muscle and fat moves when a muscle is tightening or loosening, it might be a little more difficult for you to understand how to shade it. So if you get a reference, then you can kind of map out your wrinkles. And each wrinkle has to have a highlight and a shadow in it. And depending, again, where your highlight is coming from, like here, we know that this eyebrow here is sticking out. So that's why it's so dark in here. But the eye also sticks out. So it's coming out, going in, and then coming out again. So that's why there's this highlight here. And with the wrinkles here, the highlight is right on the top, but there's dark reddish color for the shading of it. So it's really, really studying, basically. You're looking at your reference more than what you're drawing, really. You're looking at that reference probably 70% more than what you're drawing. Because each line that you do, you're looking at your reference and studying it, and then looking at your drawing to see where it should go properly. So you're in your mind, you're measuring, well, okay, it's one eye length here. Is the wrinkle going across the whole thing? You have to measure in relationships to everything. Eileen. She does her homework, Eileen. It's not like you where we have to put you in the front of the class to keep an eye on you. Oh, yeah. All right. So what else do you guys want to know? So basically, I want you to draw some faces of fictional, whatever, cute girls, or just to get used to the proportions. So is there anything else you guys want to know? So I just figured that if I start you off with fictional first, get you used to proportions and where those proportions should be, then we'll concentrate on the shading of the parts of the face. Thanks, Scooby. Because it's really the shading that makes the dimensions in the face. It's not line, it's shade. Shading and highlight. All right, just a minute. I'm almost done. You're such a pain. It's not even time for food. Fictional. Sounds good? Okay. Well, that's all I can think of, but I think I'm probably going to be doing some video on journal pages like this type of thing. I'm going to do some of those. Or maybe these. I like these were fun. Oh, I should show you what I did. And so out of practice for collage. I did start a collage, but I haven't done, I have this book. I love nature and forests and stuff. So I did I did this one so far. I started. So I cut out a lady that from a book, stuck her in the water. She's got all tattered dress. So she kind of looks like one of those Amazon women. Oh, the movies used to. And then I hung a monkey off the tree. He's trying to swing from tree to tree, not get wet. I'm not sure what else I want to do, though. Maybe put fog or mist or something in there. I thought it was cool. This is a really neat book. It's a beautiful book. Like we could put, little people coming out of here. These are pods, the pod people coming out. Could have spaceships or dinosaurs. I think it's a cool book. Monkeys. It's all about Amazon and why do some put a zillion things on when they collage? Just I don't know. There's different types of collage, I guess. Depends what you like. See, I like to blend my stuff in and find stuff because there's dimension in here. And I like to have my things like This here, she's in proportion to the other stuff. That's what I look for. So it looks more believable. Whereas if you put a giant bug here, it's not going to look proper. Oh, come on. Focus. There we go. Like even with this girl, I was placing her all over the place. But if she was up front here, then it would make her look like a miniature little person. But because I put her back here in front of the trees, it made her look more believable in size. So that's why I like. Some people just put, depends what they're wanting out of it. Sometimes it's related to a topic or a theme that they're doing, so they're just collecting a bunch. Remember when we used to have scrapbook, but it was just paper and we would glue everything in it of one particular subject? I think that's what a lot of them do. And that's fine. If that's what they enjoy doing and they love it, then I think that's great. Me, I get fussy. I like to make an actual picture of something that tells a story. Yeah, and you can paint things out, but I like to make sure it looks realistic, which can drive you up a wall sometimes. But there's so many neat, there's bugs in here. Like we could have, like this here, you could have, okay, this bug's going to come and get, maybe paint a little fairy on here that's trying to run away. There's a thing of tadpoles. I see that. Oh, really? Everybody's got their own way of. Look at that, Janet. Isn't he cute? And sometimes you just need just a few things. Like I could put a little bug on, a little ladybug on his nose, and call it done. The jaguar, we could have a little fairy riding on the back of the jaguar. Fairies riding on the back of the birds. Like that's what I like to do. That's what I want to do in these. And it uses your imagination. Um, there's a frog. I want to do fairies and little goblins and stuff like that in these. I think it would, like we could have little goblins peeking out. I think that would be cool. So you don't have to paint the whole thing. You could just do a few little added touches. You could make a swing, the little fairy hanging off of it. I got this book for like $15. It's a really expensive book. And birds. That is really nice book. Yeah, I know. I almost hate to do anything because it's beautiful photos of it. But really, it'll sit on my shelf if I don't. Like, you could have somebody crawling up, do a foreshortening and showing this person climbing this or something. Yeah, if the page explains itself, tells the story, and you see little surprises in it, and I like that. That's what I want to do. It tells its own story. Hey, we could do this. We could do the Dee Dee's what was it? Swamp creature in here. Little frog. Rainforest. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I don't know. I might do some live streams on this, but it does take time finding stuff. I'm not as good as Dee Dee, where she can just rip anything up and put it on, and there's something there. I haven't gotten to that level yet. I don't know if I ever will, but like I tend to have to have an idea of what it's going to be, and then I look for stuff for that. But yeah. But yeah, I'll probably do maybe some streams doing collage like that. So that's about it. My puppy's driving me nuts here. She wants me to go upstairs. Not time to eat, you know. So I'll get that posted for you guys, and then I will. Next week we'll talk about shading and do some shading. Puppies need their, yes, they do. They're very spoiled, and it's only me to blame. Oh, you're welcome. Hope this one wasn't. I know a lot of people. There are people that don't want to do faces and stuff. But if you give me some ideas of what you want to learn to draw, then I can work towards that too. Because I'm not sure what everyone wants to learn. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It makes me extremely happy to see that you're taking this and doing something with it. So continue the good work. Post it, so if you need some help, I can give you a hand. And let me know what you want to learn, because I don't know what you guys want to learn. You know, you got to tell me what you want to learn to draw, and I will do a class on it. All right. So have a good Halloween. I hope everybody has a safe and fun evening. Hopefully it'll stop raining here. It's pretty yucky. Poor little kids aren't going to be out today, but we'll see. I think we only got like 3 people last year because it was so crappy out. So we'll probably see you tonight. I think Beth is on and Colleen, I think. And then we'll see what, maybe I'll come back on again on the weekend, do some collage. We'll see. Have a great day, everybody. Happy Halloween.